The last time my cousin Amanda asked me for money was 3 days before Aunt Margaret's birthday, $1,200. I transferred it right away, like I always did. What she didn't know was that I had just received an email that would change everything, a proposal I still didn't have the courage to accept. And the answer I gave at that family dinner, right in front of everyone, made the silence fall in a way I'll never forget. The dinner was at one of those upscale steakhouses, you know? All-you-can-eat prime cuts, waiters in vests, a leather-bound wine list. Aunt Margaret was turning 70 and wanted to celebrate with the whole family together. I arrived with Isabel, holding her hand. She was quiet, a bit shy. We sat at the end of the long table, far from the head where the older cousins and Amanda were. She arrived about 15 minutes later, as usual. Real leather purse on her arm, that kind of outfit you can tell didn't come from a regular mall store. Ryan was right behind her, carrying a box of imported wine for the aunt. Amanda kissed everyone hello, stopped in front of me, gave me a quick hug, and looked at Isabel with that half smile. "Hey, cuz. Hey, Isabel. How are you two doing?" I said we were fine. She went to sit at the other end, near Aunt Margaret, leading the conversation. I picked up the menu. $90 per person. I did the math in my head, $180 for me and Isabel. I took a deep breath. I had the money, but it hurt. The table was full, about 23 relatives, everyone talking loudly and laughing. And there I was, just observing. Dessert had just been served when Amanda started. She was on her 3rd glass of wine, talking loudly about her trip to Miami last month. Then she looked at me with that fake concerned face, you know? "Emily, are you doing okay? Managing to pay your bills?" The whole table went silent. I felt Isabel shrink next to me. I just nodded. Amanda went on. "I mean, you know, single moms always struggle. It's hard, poor thing." Poor thing. She actually said poor thing in front of everyone. Ryan gave an awkward laugh and tried to change the subject, but Amanda wouldn't stop. "Emily, do you know how much I've loaned you in the past 6 months? $3,200. Loaned. She said loaned, as if she hadn't been the one asking me for money, as if I hadn't transferred it instantly every single time she came up with some emergency. Aunt Margaret looked down at her plate. The cousins pretended not to hear. Amanda turned to Ryan and said even louder, "Honey, couldn't we give Emily some kind of job at the company? Like cleaning? I don't know. At least she'd have a steady income, right?" Isabel lowered her head. I saw her little ears turn red. I took a deep breath and counted to 3. Amanda was smiling, thinking she was being generous. "I'll bet you $10,000 you couldn't save even half of that in a year working on your own, cousin." A few people laughed quietly. Ryan said something about every job being honorable, but that only made it worse. I looked straight at Amanda. I held her gaze and said slowly, "I don't need a year, Amanda, and I'm not lending you anything ever again." What Amanda didn't know, what nobody there knew, was that 48 hours before that dinner, I had received an email. It was from a multinational company, one of those big ones, with offices in New York and clients all over the world. I'd been doing technical translations for them for 3 years, always as a freelancer, always from home, always in silence. Contracts, manuals, legal documents. They'd never seen my face. All they knew was that I delivered on time and did a good job. The email said they wanted to hire me. Full-time position. Localization manager for Latin America. $18,500 a month, plus health insurance, plus quarterly bonuses. I read it about 10 times, printed it out, put it in a drawer, didn't tell anyone. Because I was scared, you know? Scared I wasn't good enough, scared I'd fail, scared they'd find out I was just a single mom working through the night while her daughter slept. The deadline to respond was the day after the dinner at 5 p.m. I was close to declining politely, but when Amanda said that in front of everyone, when I saw Isabel shrink with embarrassment, something changed inside me. I looked at my daughter and decided. I was going to sign, and I was going to tell everyone. We left the restaurant that night, and I didn't say another word. I paid the bill, took Isabel's hand, and left. On the drive home, she was quiet in the back seat. I looked in the rearview mirror and saw she was crying. I stopped at a red light and turned around. "Sweetheart, look at me." She wiped her face with her sleeve. "Mom, is Aunt Amanda right? Are we struggling?" My chest tightened. "No, honey, we're not struggling. And tomorrow, you'll understand why." The next morning, I woke up early. By 8, I was in front of my computer with the contract open. I read everything again, every clause, every line. At 10, I signed it digitally and sent it back. The confirmation arrived 15 minutes later. I was officially hired. Localization manager. $18,500 a month. Me, Emily, a single mom living in a rented 2-bedroom apartment. I waited until 6:30 that evening. The family group chat had 23 people, including Amanda. I opened WhatsApp and started typing. Didn't erase, didn't rewrite, just let it flow. "Hey everyone. I just wanted to thank you all for the silent support over the years while I raised Isabel on my own. You probably don't know this, but I've been working as a technical translator for 3 years now. Not just any translator, one who handles contracts and engineering manuals for multinational companies. I graduated in linguistics from a public university, took the whole course online at night while caring for my daughter. No one knew because I was ashamed to tell you before finishing, but I did it." The messages kept flowing. I speak 4 languages: English, Spanish, German, and Portuguese. I taught myself with apps, YouTube videos, and movie subtitles. I've worked for 7 different companies over these 3 years: Apple, Microsoft, Siemens, SAP, and others I can't even name because of confidentiality agreements. I've translated 2,300,000 words, technical contracts, engineering manuals, legal documents, stuff you'd never imagine needs translating. And do you know how much I earned in the past 12 months? $87,400, net, alone, working from home, late at night, while Isabel slept. The group chat started blowing up, aunts asking if it was true, cousins sending clapping emojis. Aunt Margaret sent 3 red hearts. Amanda saw it, didn't reply. Ryan wrote, "Congrats, cuz." I kept going. And there's more. Today I signed a full-time contract, got promoted, localization manager for Latin America, $18,500 per month, plus health insurance, plus quarterly bonuses. I'll send a screenshot of the contract so you know it's real. I took a screenshot, blurred the sensitive data, and sent it. Then I sent a photo of my digital company badge. The group exploded. Relatives I hadn't spoken to in years started texting me. A cousin I hadn't seen in forever wrote, "I always knew you were amazing." Aunt Margaret called me right away, crying, saying she was proud. I picked up, thanked her, hung up. Then I sent one last message to the group. I kept all this to myself because working remotely isn't considered real work in this family. For years, I heard jokes about staying home on the computer. And that money I loaned Amanda? $3,200? That was mine. Hard-earned. From translations I did in the middle of the night. While everyone else was asleep, I was building something. The group didn't stop. Message after message, people sharing my story with other relatives, not in the chat. A cousin from another state sent a 5-minute voice note saying he'd always believed in me. An uncle I barely know said he'd brag about me to his friends. And in the middle of all that, at 7:15 p.m., a notification popped up. Amanda left the group. That was it. She was gone. No apology, no explanation, just gone. 10 minutes later, Ryan texted me privately. "Emily, I'm sorry for what Amanda said last night at dinner. We had no idea. Congrats, really." I took a deep breath before replying. "Thanks, Ryan. But you don't need to know how much I make to respect me." He read it, didn't answer, The next day, my cousin Claire called me. She works in the same office building as Ryan. Not in the same company, but the same building. She told me she saw Amanda come in that afternoon, all nervous, heading straight to his office. Said you could hear the argument from the hallway. Amanda wanted him to do something, to talk to the family, to fix the humiliation. Ryan refused. Claire didn't catch everything, but she heard him ask loudly, "Why did you borrow $3,200 from your cousin? For a purse? A trip? We have money, Amanda." She didn't reply, just stood there silent, then stormed out, slamming the door. Claire told me all this in a whisper, like she was sharing a secret, and added, "I think she was hiding credit card debt, cousin." That same night, Aunt Margaret called me again. This time she cried even more. She apologized for not noticing my struggle, for not paying attention, for always treating Amanda as the niece who made it, and me as the one who needed help. "Emily, I was unfair to you. You built everything on your own, sweetheart. That's honor. That's dignity." I couldn't say much. I just thanked her. She invited me to lunch, just me and Isabel, no one else from the family. I accepted. Amanda disappeared. 3 days without a trace. She didn't show up at Sunday lunch at her mother's house, didn't answer anyone's messages. The family group chat started buzzing. Has anyone talked to Amanda? Is she okay? Does anyone know where she is? Nobody knew, or nobody wanted to say. The tables had turned completely. The one who had publicly humiliated me was now hiding in shame. And there I was, living my life, starting my new job, taking care of my daughter. I didn't feel anger. I didn't feel joy. Just a deep exhaustion, as if I'd been carrying a heavy load for years and had finally set it down. A week after that dinner, I was home on a Thursday morning when the doorbell rang. Isabel was already at school. I was still in my pajamas, drinking coffee, answering emails for my new job. I looked through the peephole and saw Amanda standing there. She looked different. Hair tied back, no makeup, swollen eyes, holding a small purse with both hands. I opened the door slowly. "Hi." And she looked at me but couldn't speak. I stepped aside. "Come in." She walked in and stood in the living room, looking around as if she'd never been there before. I closed the door and waited. Amanda opened her purse and pulled out a brown envelope. "I came to return this." She placed it on the coffee table. I didn't touch it. $3,200 and $800 more in interest. $800 in interest. I looked at the envelope, then at her. "Amanda, I didn't ask for interest." She shook her head. "I know, but I owe it." I sat down on the couch and motioned for her to sit too. She sat at the edge, like someone ready to bolt. We stayed silent for a while. I could hear the kitchen clock ticking. Amanda took a deep breath and began to talk. "I'm deep in credit card debt, a lot, over $20,000. Ryan doesn't know everything. I hid it. I kept buying things I didn't need, clothes, purses, trips, to look like I was okay, to look like I was somebody." Her voice cracked. "And you, raising Isabel on your own, working through the night, you made it. I have Ryan, I have help, I have everything, and I'm drowning." She started to really cry. It wasn't attention-seeking, it was the cry of someone who's exhausted. I picked up the envelope, opened it, counted the money. I set aside the $3,200 and left the $800 on the table. "Take this and pay your credit card, and get help, Amanda. For real." She looked at the money, then at me. "Do you know anyone I could call?" I grabbed my phone and sent her the number of a financial therapist who had helped me years ago when I hit rock bottom. Amanda saved the number. Before getting up to leave, she looked me in the eyes. "Do you hate me?" I took a deep breath. "No, but I'm not going to save you from yourself anymore." 6 months later, Isabel and I moved. Our own place, 2 larger bedrooms, better neighborhood. Nothing fancy, but it was ours. Isabel started at a private school with a 50% scholarship I managed to negotiate. She's taking German classes twice a week. She told me she wants to be just like her mom when she grows up. I cry every time I think about her saying that. Christmas dinner was at Aunt Margaret's house again. The whole family gathered, same long table. But everything was different. Amanda was there. She came in quietly, natural hair, elegant but simple clothes. Sat down, greeted everyone, didn't say much. In the middle of dinner, when Aunt Margaret asked everyone to raise a glass for a toast, Amanda raised her hand and asked to speak. The silence was instant. She looked at me. "Emily, I want to apologize. In front of everyone, like I should have done before. I was cruel, unfair, and you didn't deserve that. Thank you for not giving up on me." I stood up, walked over to her, and hugged her. It wasn't one of those tight best friend hugs, but it was sincere. Aunt Margaret raised her glass and said loudly, "To the women who build empires in silence." Everyone toasted. I looked at Isabel, sitting next to me. She was smiling, holding her glass of juice with both hands. She leaned in and whispered in my ear, "Mom, when I grow up, I want to be strong like you." I held her hand. "You already are, sweetheart." In my first year on salary, I managed to save $140,000. I'm studying to get my project management certification. Amanda paid off 60% of her debts and went back to work. She had quit years ago. We're not best friends, but there's respect. And Isabel is still proud of her mom. In the end, that's what mattered. I didn't need to prove anything to anyone, but when I did, it was to myself.